is about the Lord's business.
Okay. I don't know how realistic this is. Aquaman? Is that what we're looking at right now? Alright, I've had enough. I've seen everything that I need to see. Now, I thought I had a ridiculous morning routine when I showered first and then pooped, but this guy takes the cake. Super duper, and I mean mega viral content creator Ashton Hall went viral over this past couple of days because he has one of the most outrageous morning routines on a day-to-day basis. The last time I checked this page, he said he had like 8 billion views based off of doing this type of content, and that's total, of course, but there has to be some legitimacy to what he's doing because on every single platform, we're talking hundreds of millions of views on just his content. There's a few things about Ash that are driving people to him. One, he has a ridiculous morning routine. I mean, most of his morning routine seemingly is wasted. If I'm being 100% honest with you, there's like a whole gap between like 4 o'clock when he wakes up and 6 o'clock when he actually goes to the gym where he does virtually nothing and nobody's talking about it. It looks like he did some scrolling and maybe some note taking, but I promise you, you don't need 2 hours to do that. Get up and go to the gym, buddy. Another thing is the constant bowl of water dip. The face bowl of water dip that I've seen in the past couple of days has totally taken me out.
So looking at it, bro.
Between that, the banana peel on the face, or having these guys follow you around and record you in probably the most ridiculous and inefficient ways, I think a lot of this lifestyle content is over-exaggerated. Hell, he even fake dropped one of the water bottles to make himself seem more realistic, but the camera angles that he got for the dropped water bottle let us know that it's unrealistic. It's the most maddening thing in the world. So many variants of this guy has popped up, and I don't blame him because a lot of them are gaining some sort of traction. There's a lot of content out there right now that is depicting this successful lifestyle, and specifically the successful lifestyle of a man. Now, for the most part, it is positive. We know what male representation on the internet looks like. It has a pretty bad stigma, but it does have me questioning and wondering, why the hell are so many people so interested in this lifestyle? I know extreme versions of things are always attractive, but it's amazing to me how super viral these contents go, where people are doing just the most outrageous things in the world, and people tie them to masculinity to the point where even people are willing to pay thousands, and I mean thousands of dollars to get involved in different courses, workshops, and boot camps to show you how to really become a man.
No junk food, no women, no parties, and no alcohol. This place banned everything that is not making men grow. It's an exclusive venue hidden in the mountains of Bali that is perfect for the guys who want a place to focus 100% on their goals without distractions. It has a huge, fully equipped gym, a spa with hot and cold pools, a wood-burning sauna, and a team of private chefs that cook healthy food any time of the day. Hundreds of successful businessmen, top-tier athletes, and self-development enthusiasts have already joined the community and completely changed their lives. But not anyone can join. To enter, you need to submit an application to prove that you are dedicated enough to be a part of the community. Would you come here?
Going to grown man summer camp, and more importantly, paying $8,000 to $10,000 in order to determine whether you are a man or not, to take the next level or not, to hone in your dedication or not, is probably not the way that the modern man thought he would have to go about validating his masculinity. But we are in 2025. We are in an era where people need to make money, and we are in an era where honestly it's being questioned on a day-to-day basis. And what's crazy is the people who are pushing these things are sowing the seeds of division more and more when it comes to what is and is not masculinity than anything, in my opinion. But we're now at the point where we have content creators that are analyzing and over-analyzing every single step you make, down to the point of how you hold a briefcase in a business interview or how you pull out a chair in a business interview separates you from being a weak man to a masculine man.
Reel's fitness content creator that teaches people how to convey a strong presence while doing mundane activities like pulling up a chair to a table.
Most of you will be leaning over the chair.
I don't know why he says most of you here, because I don't think I've pulled up a chair like that in my entire life.
Make that chair serve you.
Apparently this is useful information, and he calls this knowledge body kinetics.
Just unrealistic, performative, and honestly lacking no substance. And then of course on the far end of the spectrum, you have the red pill community, who definitely has done its fair share of damage that we don't have to talk about right now. The reason why this content exists in 2025 and is literally thriving and doing as well as it is because there has been this growing sentiment that there is some sort of void when it comes to the masculinity space. I mean, people have been looking for content creators, words of advice, self-help, etc., etc. But especially when it comes to manhood, literally, as Anthony Mackie would say, manhood is under attack. Masculinity is under attack.
I keep my boys humble. Like, my boys have never had a pair of Jordans. You know, my boys don't do all that internet fly shit. I'm like your kids. I could be the biggest star in the world. Do not let me catch you being stupid. Mm-hmm. In the past 20 years, we've been living through the death of the American male. They have literally killed masculinity in our homes and our community. But I raised my boys to be young men. My boys will always be respectful. They will always say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. No, sir, no, ma'am. They will always say thank you. They will always open a door for a lady. They will always make sure that their mother is taken care and provided for. They will always be men. Every time I left for a job, I tell my 15-year-old, you the man of the house. You make sure these doors are locked every night, this alarm is on, you text me or you call me every night before you go to bed and you wake up. Because we're men. Because you can have all the money in the world, climb through the window, that money means nothing.
The non-existent burglar. All right, that's the way. Anthony Mackie got a lot of hate for his comments, and I do think some people jumped out of the gun. Now, I won't be addressing any of the dog whistles and stuff like that. That's not me, that's not my life, and that's not my platform to speak on, but I will address the masculinity portion of it. Now, I was raised on some of those very same principles, no shoes over $100, lock up the house, text, etc., take the trash out, be polite, blase, blase, blah. But also, my mom was born before Martin Luther King got assassinated, so I would assume her to have some of those ideals and principles. I hate when we even talk about masculinity, it's always tied to the most surface level things. Like, outside of the content that Ashton Hall was putting out or any of the other lifestyle content creators, because we know that they're trying to exaggerate for clicks and views. Every time we talk about masculinity, it's tied to this specific moment where some murderous person or some pew-pew man comes through your door, tries to burglarize you and a family, and you have to step up. And that moment right there is the moment that validates your potential masculine vibes. You have to be ready when that shows its head, because if you're not a man. Saying yes, sir, no, sir, having good manners makes you a man. I don't know, the correct posture makes you a man. Being humble by depriving your kids of the things that make kids cool or the things that people talk, that's what makes you a man. I think this is a tough way to talk about it. And then they always talk about the provide piece as well from a financial aspect. But the crazy part about it is those things don't happen anymore. That man doesn't come into your house, doesn't happen. We're not on the Oregon Trail. Sure, I'm not saying that you haven't gotten into a fight at a bar before and you had to defend your woman's honor, but that's because you got drunk in college and so you had to step in for some mess that you made. Being a man would probably say, you know, handle your liquor better in public, or don't take your woman to be in situations like that, you know? But those are fringe situations. And even to the conversation about providing, the way that the economy is set up right now, capitalism being capitalized, both of y'all are going to have to provide in order for it to thrive. So I've seen the conversation of the perpetuated, oh, well, I have to be the breadwinner, etc., etc. Look, just be happy that you live in a household that has 2 thriving incomes. That's the goal, honestly. And I do think that there are some actual healthy conversations to be had about the death of masculinity or masculinity being under attack. There's potentially some systemic things that we could talk about in those regards, but it's always left at that surface level conversation about the aesthetics. What happens when, you know, your wife is on the side of the road and a car splashes some water on her? Do you catch it with a jacket, or do you hold the door for 18 grandmas in a row? It's always something overly exaggerated. And then when men express themselves in different ways, people also see that as traditional masculinity being under attack. One of the biggest talking points about this is fashion and how fashion has changed for men. See, back in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, wearing anything besides your Wrangler or Lee or Levi jeans, a button-down work shirt, and then some brown work boots was considered to be taboo, or more like zesty. But so now recent fashion trends have really pushed the boundaries as to what masculinity is. We're talking about things like earrings, or hair being a different texture or a different color, or worse yet, nail polish.
So show us the nails.
Don't get a close-up of my nails.
No?
Listen, I've been on the road. I'm gonna do like this.
But we see a pop of color.
Yeah.
What was the impetus for it?
Expression.
Expression.
Yeah, expression. You know, I'm creative. I'm expressive. And there's so many ways to do that.
Your nails look better than mine.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
They do.
Don't do that.
Between that and the thousands, and I mean thousands of gay people that you see on TV doing things like, kissing or holding hands or just living their regular life, the internet truly believes that masculinity is under attack. Now, I rebuke like 99.9% of these conversations because ultimately when we do talk about what masculinity is, it's just somebody who is a man living a specific different life. Like a gay man is still a man who paints his nails is still a man who wears a merce is still a man. It doesn't make him less of a man, especially because I don't understand how the sliding scale generally works. Like if you are more of a provider on this end, but then you wear a dangly earring on this end, shouldn't it balance out on the masculine scale? Or do you have to be 100% of the depiction that you saw when you grew up to be some sort of man? And even what is that picture? Why are we questioning it so much in today's day and age?
And it's a cultural problem because men are very confused. You have to see who you are and see the virtue in it and see the power in that. I didn't have that confusion when I was growing up, So now it's very difficult because you're being told that all these things that you feel naturally are negative. They're only negative if you can't control them.
The negativity that he's talking about is the growing anti-male sentiment that exists not only on the internet, but that's creeping over into the mainstream media. Picture this, you're a young man living your life in Idaho of all places, and you were growing up feeling the natural feelings, protector, provider. Somebody came through the house, I got you, honey, type feelings. You want to get married, you want to settle down, you want to have kids, you want to grow and be successful in a job, you want to participate in physical activities, just normal things that we would associate with being a man. But then here we are having women and other unidentified participants on the internet questioning what a man is, why men do this, is this a bad part about being a man, to the point where it's attacking everything that you wanted to do in life. There's tweets out there talking about, I've never met a woman that was truly happy in marriage or that their life improved under marriage, and that's specifically directing it to the men in this specific conversation. Like everywhere that you turn and twist, there is a conversation about why men and women shouldn't coexist or why they're not doing the right things as a man, or what you do as a man, even if it feels right and natural, is valid. And I can understand why people feel some sort of way to those sentiments, because especially if you don't have the ability to discern what is good or bad information, what are trolls or what are people you should just ignore, it can seem like you can do no right in today's society. But what they're targeting mostly, and I mean mostly, again, there are definitely some bad actors, is toxic masculinity over anything. And again, there's extremists on both sides, but toxic masculinity has been the thing that have even hurt and ended men's lives in the past. It's the reason why your grandfather was so darn mean and angry. It's the reason why these men end up incarcerated or, end up doing gang-related activity or all these bad things. Toxic masculinity literally ends people's lives. And so now you're to a point where you have these people trying to grasp at straws and make up new rules and try to determine and define what masculinity is, all in hopes to either A, sell their own product, or B, further divide the community.
Well, his nickname's Tampon. No real man has a nickname like that. Well, that's what it is. I'm sorry. I didn't make it up. He wants them in boys' bathrooms. Real men don't talk about how they can beat other guys up. They don't talk about how masculine they are. Maybe if you're a professional fighter, you can do that, but I don't know people that do that, and I know a lot of tough guys, like this guy, Greg Gutfeld. I have rules for men. They're just funny. They're not that serious. Like, you don't eat soup in public. You don't cross your legs, and you don't drink from a straw. And one of the reasons you don't drink from a straw is because the way your lips purse. It's very effeminate. And his excuse was, well, I was drinking a milkshake. Again, you shouldn't be drinking a milkshake. Milkshakes are for kids.
They're delicious.
Yeah, if having to police how people drink out of straws, eat soup, or just do day-to-day activities is some sort of way to go about, seeing who is more masculine or not, it's exhausting being a man sometimes. And because I have a 20% woman audience, please, ladies, I want you to know these are the real plights that young men are going through. And if they are not secure or don't have the right role models in their lives, they will fall for these traps and go down that pipeline to red pill and then simping, and then red pill and then simping, this perpetual cycle that continues to go on till honestly somebody snaps them out of it. I think young men in 2025, though, have decided that this is not the life that I want to live. This is too much examination. This is too much hard work. I mean, hell, Anthony Mackie literally talked about how his 15-year-old had the burden of the responsibility of not only just locking up a house, which is a small task, like that's a minute thing, but the fact that I now have to bear the burden of, you know, if somebody jumps into my house, I'm the one to defend them. Me, my 15-year-old self. And I get the sentiments of the message, but there has to be another way. And this is where the new age man has stepped in and said, I'm gonna be different. Look, you would hope that you change with the world and as your life changes and life grows. So instead of hanging on to the traditional values like you would when you're single, like this tweet says, then it would be easier for you to change when you get into a relationship because a whole new world is brought to you. Not saying you're gonna lose who you are in it, but just saying that you understand that being so rigid isn't the way to be a man or be responsible or anything like that. To me, masculinity is what you are going to make it. I'm not here to invalidate anybody being some sort of man or being the man or there's some sort of measuring book or rule stick that you have to follow by. I think that that's some of the dumbest thing in the world. No, I'm not gonna analyze how you tie your shoe when I'm in a business meeting with you. I'm gonna understand your business acumen. The goal should be not genderizing a lot of these things and just focusing on how your character is as a person. Are you being beneficial to society? Are you taking care of your responsibilities? Are you helping or harming? These things are universal truth no matter what the gender is, no matter what the sex is, no matter if you paint your nails or wear a dress or kick a kickball or fucking eat soup in public. That was so stupid. A lot of people won't talk about this, but the growing male sentiment of masculinity being under attack is by the players who continuously perpetuate masculinity being under attack. The people who push back on modern television, the people who push back on the new expression that people have, the people who overanalyze. And so just as much as they think because a man kisses a man on television makes masculinity under attack, or because now I want to wear a pink shirt instead of the traditional black and white shirt, then masculinity is under attack. They too, by defining all these rules and trying to hold people to unrealistic standards of, I don't know, dunking your head in water and using a banana as some sort of skincare, that unrealistic standard is also attacking masculinity. And we should be teaching people how to discern for themselves, learn what good values are, and become a good person. That just so happens to be a man.